Legend of Peter Caviston, fishmonger. He told me a few times about the day he wheeled his wheelbarrow out onto the centre spot, the halfway line at Lansdowne Road on International Day. He's a cross between Molly Malone and Leopold Bloom, half fishmonger, half daydreamer. Drazen, please, the fishmonger's heir. Peter Caviston is a legend in his own cocktail. I didn't write any of this, He's the bone on his soul, off the bone. He's the roe of his own sturgeon. He's the smoke in his own seasoned salmon. Peter Caviston is modest to a fault. He's the very fault in his own modesty. If he was a fish, I wouldn't eat him or sell him. I think I'd just freeze him in time, in his own town. Without Peter Caviston, Glastool would be all very well, like Nace or some such place. But with him, in Glastool, where he went to school, only to be told he'd come to nothing, whereas he came to Glastool. Place, as all poets will tell you, is important. But Glastool would not be important without Peter Caviston. Yeah. Peter goes on about James Joyce at least once a year, but I ask you, what did James Joyce ever do for Glastool? What did Christmas ever do for the Middle East? What did Easter do for eggs? Not a lot, if I'm to think honestly. Joyce paid the milkmaiden from the cowshed the twopence a week supply. He might have walked through the village to get to the tower and to retreat 3 days later, whereas Peter Caviston built this place. He put it on the map, as they say, caused more potatoes to be peeled and persecuted with mayonnaise than anyone else in Ireland, chopped more chicken and mushed it with corn than Colonel Saunders, stewed more lasagna for the old folks and the infirm of Glastool than Sergio Berlusconi, who, like Peter Caviston, was never afraid to tell a good story. Peter chopped the heads off more fish than, I better move on, because this could end bad. This annual pilgrimages to Bordeaux with Tom Fitzgerald, his patron of the tenor arts. He is like a flypaper for musical spirits. His bus to Moran's on the Weir, full of fun people. Peter's annual fishing at the National Yacht Club with Tim and Cormac. More fellows lost their moorings in those splendid evenings than they did in Hurricane Charlie. I don't know anything, if I'm to be honest, because I wasn't there. He built his empire through his strawberries, baked his bread, pursed his cheese, boxed his curiosities, stewed his soups, and worked off an occasionally orbiting experience. Low in forensic detail, big in impressions. From the minute I met him at the National Yacht Club, I knew he was a lovely genius, the kind the world needs so badly, the kind that is crafted from the love of life itself. I might not have been around to see him craft his strategic plans, the years and years of pulling and dragging and of loading and unloading and winning and losing, and mostly of winning, and most importantly of all, of getting to know everyone, and I mean everyone, in cultivating their friendship and their custom. His father's name over the door and the store, his mother is a Crowley, that half of his law, Lawrence A. Crowley, a customer fine, he carved them in brass upstairs for all time. Simon and Jeremy Morgan belong in Peter's conundrum, his brothers in song. He loves them and rightly believes in their art. They are fixed on his menus, the loveliest part. And I might not have been there, but I must have seen his genius at work. He might exaggerate, I won't. Once he catered a top secret event in the Embassy Belt in Bulls Bridge, He turned an embassy mansion into a seafood fun palace. Oysters, crabs, prawns, scallops, and God knows what. Dredged from that day in Dublin Bay, slow roasted beef on the big green egg barbecue. The finest wines, champagne, rosé, red and white. Starched linen tablecloths and napkins. Don't wrap over the silver. Face them on top. The umbrella and the tall stools in the garden, the elegant dining room side. He pulled and dragged everything, tables, chairs, boxes, bags. He hired lovely people to cook and to serve, and guests swam in his culinary genius, soared on the waves of great company, the sublime delicacies, and gallons of Peter's finest hooch. I had to tidy up, but it was my absolute pleasure. The battle won, the war settled. Besides, I'm a dishwasher by trade. It's Bloomsday again, its bunting is up. The disciples are gathering, the Bordeaux to sup. There are ponies and traps from 1904, bonnets and barnacles and boaters galore, fellows who never rejoice in their lives, and walk in glass tool with their elegant wives. It's no thanks to Ulysses or portraits of men, Dubliners, chamber pots, and all things way back then. It's all about Peter Caviston now, the soul of glass tool, and the finest of men. Hey, machine, hey.
Hey, hooray!
Well done.
I paid a lot to write that down. Took me half an hour. Thanks.